So today is my 3-year wedding anniversary, and I can without a doubt say that this has been hands down the most depressing, miserable, horrible 3 years of my life. I have literally never been so depressed. I've never hated another person more than I hate the person that I married.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amalmi, aka Petite Diva, and in this video we are listening to some women who are sharing their story, sharing when they knew that their relationship, marriage was not working, and this made them to decide that they need to leave their marriage. So let's check out their story and then I'll come back to share my thoughts.
7 months ago, my life flipped completely upside down when I got a wild hair to check my husband's Apple Watch. And in 2 seconds, I found some of the most disgusting text messages that I have ever read from a married man. And I discovered his infidelity. And 24 hours later, he and his parents walked out of my house. Wow. I lost, at the time, what I felt like was my whole life. And for anybody saying, it's been 7 months, get over it, it's very apparent you've never experienced anything like this before, as this is the most traumatic thing I have ever been through in my entire life. I lost my best friend, I lost an entire marriage, I lost essentially the father of my kids, my life partner, in a split second. And I wasn't expecting it. I've spent the last 7 months trying to figure out what life is going to look like for me and my girls, as we are in the middle of a divorce that I had no control over. And life is going to look a whole lot different. I am now going to be the provider for the three of us, and I've spent a lot of time figuring out what I wanted that to look like and how I wanted that to be and how much I didn't want the girls' lives to shift and change for the choices that someone else made. And for the first time in 7 months, I'm excited about the future and what this is going to do for me and my kids. And I'm proud of me for doing way more than I ever imagined that I could. And I think that life is about to get a whole lot better for us. And I think we're going to have a life that we never ever could have had before. And I'm grateful and I'm excited. And for the first time in a really long time, I'm hopeful because things are looking up. I started sharing my journey here in March, and this all started in January. And I never dreamed that this is what that was going to look like, that 230,000 people were going to start following me and
that's great,
my redemption story.
Wow.
But I'm excited, and I'm here to tell you that that story starts now. So thank you for being here, and I hope you'll stick around to see where life takes us.
Why I divorced my husband at the age of 27. One of the main things I had to come to terms with is doing more for anyone in your life will not result in you being a priority. Now, these are just overall truths that I've learned since I was married to my husband, and not so much so getting into the nitty-gritty details of why we decided to separate, because I don't want that to ever be attached to my name publicly. And I also just don't want to paint anyone in a bad light, because I also take accountability for a lot of the things that happen in the relationship, and the specifics should be kept private. Whenever you do make someone else a priority in your life, thinking that it'll result in you getting more, you literally do the exact opposite. And instead of you getting more out of that relationship, you actually get less, because the more that they realize that you're able to reward their bare minimum actions, the more they're going to continue to be bare minimum. If I'm able to get the best out of doing the least, I'm going to continue to do the least. And that's something that I had to learn for sure. Now, this next one I've learned is going to shoot you in the foot every single time until you listen. And that is ignoring the red flags. Baby, let me tell y'all, God gave you an intuition for a reason. And if you decide to ignore that intuition, you're gonna pay for it every single time. It's basically like that analogy when the guy was in the ocean and he was like, God, please come save me. And he sent him 3 different boats and he passed up on each of the boats every single time. And then he was like, God, why didn't you save me? And God was like, I sent you 3 boats. That's the exact same thing. He's letting you know these are the red flags. And if you decide to ignore them, you're just going to have to deal with those consequences. And when I tell you I ignored every single boat, baby, you would have thought I was a fish. When you think you can ignore it and it's going to get better, I promise you it will only get worse. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is being valued. A man who values and respects you will never pass up on an opportunity to celebrate you or to make you feel special or to make you feel like you are appreciated. And no matter how much you may beg him to do something, he's not going to do it, baby, if he does not want to. Because as the saying goes, if he wanted to, he would. And that is just the harsh reality that I had to realize in life. Is if he wanted to, he would have done that already. And don't allow people to tell you that saying, you have to explain it and overly communicate it to a man, because sometimes men are slow. Men are not slow. Men are created to lead us. So how can they be slow and we be smarter than them? And I'm not trying to say that in every situation that you don't have to explain something to your partner to get him to understand. But I'm just saying, if it's repeated things that he's not doing, sis, he does not want to do those things. Trust the actions and not the words. And one of the main things that I give congratulations to is my growth. I literally refer to myself as the rose that grew from the concrete. I truly realized what I deserved out of a relationship. And you have to make sure that the person you decide to bring children into the world with is a person that you like, a person that you would want your kids to mirror. And even if you don't want kids, I feel like putting yourself or using that example as a scenario, like if I were to have a child, would I be okay if my child grew up to be exactly like this person that I'm with right now? Ask yourself that question, and that will literally tell you all that I feel like you need to know. All in all, I grew from my past relationship, and I only want to make the best decisions for myself in the future. And that's really why I am talking about this on this platform, just to be a girl's girl, make sure you don't make the same decisions without the right advice that I did. So follow along on this journey of becoming Crystal Nicole while I share with you guys tips like these and more about becoming the woman that your future self will thank.
So today is my 3-year wedding anniversary, and I can without a doubt say that this has been hands down the most depressing, miserable, horrible 3 years of my life. I have literally never been so depressed. I've never hated another person more than I hate the person that I married. While I run my ass off and I do everything for everybody in my life, like me, my kids, him, he goes to work and works enough. That's it. He works. Yeah, his job's hard. Yeah, his hours suck, but he works. That is all he does. I am in a different town because I had to take my kids to their football practice. And I asked him to watch our daughter, and you know what he did? He slept. He slept since he got home. What did I do? I did homework. I fed the kids. I took my son to speech. I went to the bank. I paid people to mow my yard because, he can't mow the yard anymore. I, like I said, made sure homework got done. I got them ready for football. I took them to football. I tried taking care of myself and went on a walk, but you know, when I started realizing I hadn't heard from him, I'm calling and calling and calling and begging for the bare minimum of him to watch our fucking daughter. Excuse my language. I'm just so upset. To watch our daughter, to cut up a watermelon and to make dinner. I mean, that is absolutely bare minimum. That is not, that's not asking for much. And it's not even today. It's not even today. Oh, so then when he realizes that he's almost running out of time and we're going to be home soon, he's like, oh, I can't because I don't have this. So you know what a normal person would do? They'd be like, oh, I don't have that. Let me go get it. But guess what? He has 30 minutes until everybody's going to be home. So he's just like, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm just going to lay now because I waited so long and now I'm mad at myself. Now I'm just not going to do anything because F it. I am 30 years old and I'm literally begging for the bare minimum every single day. I am a married single mom. That's what I am. Yeah, I don't work, but the amount of weight I carry, I have been applying for jobs. I mean, I can tell you right now, the reason women stay in shit relationships is one, because they don't have the means to leave financially, like a house. Two, the idea of a family. I can tell you why I've stayed. Money. It's that simple. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. He used to want me to be a stay-at-home mom. Now he just doesn't care because he doesn't care about anything. I shouldn't have to wake a 32-year-old man up for work. No matter what shift, first, second, third, I shouldn't have to wake him up for work. I shouldn't have to tell him what time to set an alarm if I can't wake him up. I shouldn't have to call or make people go wake him up. I shouldn't tell a grown man that he probably should shower after working all day. I shouldn't have to tell him to brush his teeth. I shouldn't have to tell him to feed his kids while he's taking care of them.
Wow.
I shouldn't have to tell him to watch his kids.
That's terrible.
I shouldn't have to tell him what to put the kids in when it comes to clothes. I shouldn't have to tell him where the clothes are. He doesn't even know my kids' teachers' names.
Wow.
I shouldn't have to manage his schedule and mine and my kids. I shouldn't have to tell him, hey, you need to refill your medicine. Hey, you need a doctor's appointment. Hey, you should probably get your oil changed. Hey, your brakes don't sound good. Not only tell him, but then I have to call and schedule that oil change because will he do it himself? No. Will he call himself? No. I am raising another kid. And so what's going to happen when I get my job? I am going to be doing everything that I'm doing.
Plus your job.
On top of working now. I shouldn't have to tell a grown man if he can and can't buy something because he doesn't know how much money we have, because never in his life has he ever downloaded a banking app on his phone. Never has he ever looked at a pay stub. Never has he ever even looked at a bill to see what it costs. So yeah, he might make the money, but who carries the financial weight? Who carries the way to budget the money? Who makes the grocery list? Who makes sure we have food so we can eat food? Who makes sure he has this, that, and everything else? When all he gives a shit about is getting high and sleeping. Because you know what? If he's not high, he's not happy. I should not be begging a grown man for the bare minimum. On top of the bare minimum, I shouldn't have to deal with the anger outbursts, breaking my shit where my door won't even close, putting holes in my walls, threatening to kill me in front of my kids. The list could just go on and on. And yeah, I know I can leave because trust me, I am leaving. But people can't just walk out and leave one day when you have kids and 12 years of life wrapped up together. You gotta have a plan. You can't just walk away with nothing. You have to have a plan. My plan is in effect right now, but I just had a rant because I'm just baffled. I just don't want to spend another day like this. And I know I just got to get through a couple more days, couple more weeks. And then what? My kids lose their dad? When I quit forcing him to be one, when I quit forcing him to help, when he loses his job because he doesn't wake up himself, like I don't even know where I'm going with this. It's just not fair. happy 3-year anniversary to me. Happy 3 years of misery. I mean, I'm trying so hard not to be bitter, but like, I've just never disliked somebody so much that I should love, that I just don't. In sickness and health, better or worse, like, no. Like, so destroy myself and destroy my kids to keep a vow? Nope. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm waiting to get my kids from football so I can go home to a fight that I already know I'm going to go home to. So I can figure out dinner at 8:30 at night and do showers and get everything ready for the next day to do it all over again. Moms literally cannot give up. You just can't give up because nobody else is going to pick up the pieces. Dads will check out. Dads will do this. Dads will do that. But as a mom, you literally cannot, because you have to carry it. Miserable, horrible 3 years of my life.
Quiet as it's kept, this is marriage for many women. I have to point out that this woman is a housewife. She is a stay-at-home wife and mother. Now, that doesn't mean she should be left with all of the tasks. But I want you to notice how this is the diametric opposite of what the tradwife content is selling you. This doesn't look sexy. She is not running her errands in a gorgeous little dress. It's her anniversary. She's not done up to the nines. She's begging for the bare minimum from her partner, and he's still not even giving that. This is what the reality of being financially trapped because you don't have your own job, money, career, work experience, and you can't dictate the terms looks like in real life. It's not sexy. This is the beginning of a series I'm working on called The Lonely Wife. I was requested to do this when I talked about the last woman who was counting down whether or not the husband was going to notice it was their anniversary, and surprise, surprise, he never did. The reason that there's a call to a return to, quote, traditional values is that fundamentalism takes hold whenever men get confused about their role in society. They want to go backwards because they can't picture going forward. They don't know what their role is, so they say. Even the women have told them, we want to be in partnership. We want to be in relationship. They are open to getting married, having children, etc., as long as it's an equal process. But men do not want that. So they are pushing for a return to blatant inequality, which is why they're glorifying that kind of, tradwife aesthetic right now. Oh, yes, if only you were my Nara Smith, if you were my ballerina farm. Well, here's their contemporary, and this life isn't all it's cracked up to be. But it's not just women who don't work outside the home. Women who are working, and she said, I'm attempting to get a job, and I know once I get one, I'm going to be carrying all of this, in addition to working outside the home and trying to get together enough money to leave. I'm trapped financially, but other women are trapped by other means. I've told you, rich men will use their money to financially abuse you, and poor men will use your money, your own money, to financially abuse you. So I'm not blaming it all on her being a stay-at-home mom. I'm saying that we need to investigate what we're being sold. The fantasy, the fairy tale, and the propaganda of marriage is that, first of all, if you don't do it, you're going to be lonely. These women are both lonely and overworked. They're lonely in their marriages. They're miserable. They hate their partners because their partners are overworking them. Their partners don't care about them. They don't care about their children. They are left doing everything by themselves, and they're lonely because of it. Society leverages the idea you're going to be lonely if you don't get married to force you into unequal dynamics that will leave you miserable and trapped. Do not for it.
Wow. I was listening to the last lady and how she was ranting, and I was just like, what the heck? It was obvious that she has gone through a lot. And the second lady was saying something about not accepting the bare minimum and not continuing doing what you are doing when the person is doing the bare minimum. That if you continue to accept the bare minimum, the person will continue to act the way the person is doing because he knows that you are going to stay for the bare minimum. And that's what she was saying, that she's even begging for the bare minimum and he's not even doing it, and she has been staying. She talked about the fact that some women stay in bad marriages because of the finances. And I've talked about it in some other videos where I said finance is one of the things that keep some women in bad marriages. We can look at it from the outside and say, why are you there? Why are you this thing? But if they don't have a plan that would help them after they get out of the marriage, there's going to be a lot of issues. So some of them will just stay. Like she said, she's a stay-at-home mom, and he's the one that is working and bringing the money. And she said it openly. She has said it that she's staying, and she has stayed that long because of she doesn't have money. Now, follow up to a video, I noticed that she has left and she is doing well. In the video, she was saying that she had already set some things in motion, which is what a lot of people advise those that are in terrible marriages and abusive marriages that is even affecting their mental health and their physical health, that they should have a plan. And even though the plan might not be 100% perfect, but they should still have like a plan and an action or money that will sustain them for quite a few months after they've left the terrible situation. I was so sorry for her. I was just listening to some of the things that she was saying the guy would not do, and I was like, what? How was he coping without her in his life? This is what, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to call this one laziness or weaponized incompetence, because there was some things she was saying, like when she tells him to do dinner because she has taken the kids to soccer and she knows they are going to come late, that he would delay doing the stuff till maybe when it's like 30 minutes to when they're arriving, and then he will now say, oh, that there's something that I don't have, so I'm not going to do it. Instead of saying, okay, let me get to the supermarket, let me go and get it and do it, even though I delayed doing it till this time that it's late. But it looks like that kind of situation was actually him weaponizing incompetence. He didn't want to do it, so he delayed it to a point, and when he saw that something was missing, he said, oh, that's good. You come back and do everything because it's missing. So you have to probably go and get it on your way coming back. So if you're getting it on your way coming back, you can do everything. And that's, I feel like he's lazy. He's also weaponizing incompetence because she's doing everything, and it feels like she's a stay-at-home mom. What's her job? Her job is to do everything. He is supposed to go to work and bring the money. And she was talking about the fact that if she's not even around when he's supposed to wake up, she has to call him or call people to tell him to wake up. How is it that a grown-up man, they have to tell you to wake up to go early to work? It doesn't make sense. Now, if she had gotten a job and she was staying in the marriage, there's a possibility that he will stop going to work and say, since she's going to work and she's bringing the money, he doesn't have to go to work all the time, and that she should be paying for the bills and doing everything, because obviously that person is lazy, incompetent, and is also weaponizing his incompetence. She has walked away from the marriage and she's taking care of herself and her kids, and she's doing well. The second lady was talking about the lessons that she learned when she was married to a husband, and when she realized that she needed to step out of the marriage, she needed to leave. She talked about the red flags, that you should not ignore the red flags. Now, the last lady that was talking about her incompetent husband, I was just thinking about the fact that, did she see some of this attitude when she was dating him? I don't know. She said they've been married for 3 years, but at one point she was saying that she has been in a relationship with him for like 12 years. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe I heard that correctly. But I'm wondering whether she didn't see that he's lazy, he's entitled, he's expecting people to do things for him. Because sometimes some women see the red flag and they will think that, like she said, it's orange or something. Or they will just ignore it and say, okay, when we marry, he will change. There are some characters that doesn't change when people get married. It becomes worse. So if someone is not willing to work on some characters by themselves, not because of another person, but say, oh, I'm going to work on it by myself, I'm going to work on it for myself, you find out that the bad character will be increased or heightened when they are married. So when people say, oh, when he's married, he will change it, I'm just looking like, it's like you've not heard that it doesn't work like that. Now, one of the ladies was talking about the fact that she got a wild hair to check her husband's Apple Watch. Now, I don't have Apple Watch. I don't even have an iPhone. I've never had an iPhone before. So I don't even know what that wild hair means. But she checked his watch and she saw messages that made her know that, oh, the relationship was over. And instead of him and his parents to like try and resolve the issue or try and apologize, I think they just left. I don't know. She said they left her house. So maybe she's the owner of the house. I don't even understand that part. But the part that made me happy for her was the fact that she said she started sharing a story on TikTok as of March. The incident happened in January, and she has grown her page to hundreds of thousands of people following her, and definitely I'm sure she's earning money from videos. And I believe that that achievement and other things that she has achieved from her TikTok page has made her more independent, has made her to be able to get things or do things that she never would have done if she was still married. Anyway, I don't know what you guys think about the stories that these ladies have shared. Was there anything that resonated with you? Any points that they made? Just sharing their story. Did you connect with something that they said? Have you been in any of the situation? Or did anything that they said remind you of yourself or a situation that you were in before? I would love to hear what you think about their stories. So please leave your comments in the comment section so that we can get this discussion popping. Now, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are not yet subscribed and you like videos such as this, please consider subscribing by clicking on the red button that says subscribe. And don't forget to click on the bell notification icon by the side so that you're notified anytime I upload videos. Now, with all that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.